let me go ahead and answer this question right here, because I was asked about it this past Sabbath as well as in an email, because I do not know why that when I speak it's so unclear and so uncertain. Now understand this: the Bible is a Hebraic book, and it comes from a Hebrew culture, not European, not African, in any way, shape, fashion, or form. And if you're going to submit to the laws, the statutes, and commandments of that Bible, and you're going to obey it, that means you are now choosing to practice and to obey Hebrew principles. Now, are there wicked Israelite women as well as wicked Israelite men? Yes. The Bible tells us over and over again. Are there people who would try to rise themselves up and make their own laws, statutes, and commandments in order to deceive others? Yes, it happens all the time. But I'm a clear voice. I am a very clear voice. And let me go ahead and get to the question. Now, listen to me. If you women choose to go contrary to what I am saying to you, know that's between you and the Father. I'm a presenter of information. You can do what you want to do, because all of us, whether we like it or not, are going to stand before the judge. So there's no need in you getting incensed, enraged, inflamed, or excited about the truth that I'm getting ready to present to you, because I'm coming from a biblical Hebrew perspective. All right? Should a woman cut her hair? And the answer is an absolute no. Now, heathens cut your hair all day long. Israelite women, we don't cut your hair. Your hair grows from the roots, not from the ends. You're not to be cutting and trimming and snipping. You're not to take scissors and put it on your head and trim it across and stuff in order to so-called get growth or even growth. All this is stuff that you've had put in your head by the Gentiles, the heathen around you, and you've been influenced by it, and now that means more to you than what the book says. Now, to make it simple, just go read 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and don't argue with me whatsoever at all. But many of you are just, you're making up your own rules and regulations as you go. And of course, you live, you breathe, you can do that, but don't call it truth. Just don't call it truth. And let me go ahead and add to this too. Hebrew women do not color their hair. They don't go out here and get all these synthetic chemicals and oh, what color I want to be today. Oh, I'm graying too much, so I think I'm going to dye my hair black like a lot of witches do. I think I'm going to dye my hair red. I'm going to highlight it in blonde, which is nothing but a curse hair anyway when you go read the book. I'm gonna put highlights. I'm going to do it. You women are vain. It's just impossible for you to be content with such things you have. I think the many different captivities that we have been through has caused your mind to respond just like the heathens, to where you now to the point to where you want to be saved, but you don't want to stop sinning. You want your name written down, but you don't want to obey. And that's the reason why we're having difficulty today, because women simply just do not want to submit to authority because they believe that they are in the authority. That's the problem right there. So when a woman cuts her hair in any way, shape, fashion, form, look, pass down the beer here. Look at it. So I'm doing, I'm cutting it. I'm cutting it. You can see it in my hand right there. You can see all that hair. I just got finished cutting. That is an abomination to you women. You women are not to do that in any way, shape, fashion, or form. None whatsoever at all. If there's going to be any type of special cases or something like that, let the judges of the land be the one to determine it, but not you. You don't take the word and put it up on your own self and start going aside and making your own laws, statutes, and commandments, trying to spit in everybody else's ear and influence others. That's what Jezebels do. And mind you, Jezebels mask themselves in many different ways. You have your loud, boisterous women who are Jezebels. And that's easy for people to point out because you can see them. But then you have your real quiet, subtle ones that flies under the radar perception that seem like they're so meek and so humble. And I tell you, it seems like, man, and the men will go, man, I wish I had a woman like that. And she ain't nothing but a damn snake in the grass. I'm using these extremes to try to explain something. Anytime you get a woman that goes outside or out from under any authority and go about establishing her own rules and making her own laws and regulations without the authority of the men there, you've got serious problems. You have serious problems, and Jezebel is in the house and she is ruling. But women, you do not take scissors and if you're a Hebrew woman. Now, if you are an American, if you are European, if you are an African, Australian, a Canadian, or of one of any one of these other nations, you don't have any laws anyway. Go do what you want to do. You're a Christian, go do what you want to do. But if you're going to obey the Torah, the Tanakh, and the Barit Kadashah, then we are under obedience. We are servants. In this world, we are serving. We're in exile to the Father, and we're not designed or allowed. Y'all didn't ask us to represent our opinion. He asked us to represent his truth. And we don't have the options in this life to live and do and be the way we want to. Now, while we're under this covering, we are protected spiritually from a lot of forces, evil, wicked, demonic, lies, and everything else, as long as we stay under the umbrella of protection of the Father. But you find out today, and I'm also seeing a trend today to where everybody all of a sudden, everybody individually wants to hear from the Father. Well, the Father told me, Well, that's the reason why you have judges in the land. That's why you have elders. That's why you have, if you have them, because they'll be able to tell, because, the spirit of the prophets is subject unto the prophets. And when you go read all the books, if there's a spirit that's trying to tell you something, and you think it's the Father and stuff, it has to be test proven and tried. Everything has to be weighed and stuff. But today, we want to do what we want to do, and everybody thinks they're this own individual great Moses themselves, and that the Father has special attention to them and them alone. No, not that way. We are accountable one to another, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But hey, we're only a remnant, so you can choose to get offended at this video, but I made it clear. If you're not an Israelite, you're not a Hebrew, then it's not for you. This is only for the people who want to obey what the scriptures have already laid out for us and what the New Testament has already laid out for us. I'm not adding to or taking away. Now, you may not like to hear it because it's not what you want to do, but again, it is not for you. I'm only talking to Hebrew Israelite women. That's it. And let's see how much intelligence we can all exercise, no matter how plain that I make it. But no, women, you're not to take any scissors or any instruments and put it up on your head and cut it and start looking like the other nations or thinking like that. That's part of the problem right now, is that we don't understand the pecking order of authority. And if you go read 1 Corinthians chapter 11, there's an order there. There's not this equality, this humanism, this feminism, and all this other junk that's going on today. And understand this. Everybody's not going to submit to this. No, it's only a remnant. It's only a remnant. That's the truth. That's the true straight way. Women, stop cutting your hair.